am using a new Chromebook today, and I'm not sure how the audio is picking up for you guys. So if you could let me know in the chat that it's good, I would really appreciate it, because I am outside and I'm not sure if I need to go inside for you guys or not. I was going to use my other device, but the battery's dead. So we are talking about the spelling manor today, guys. There's so much research and so much. This place is sprawling. It's huge. It's worth probably what it was sold for, but I got some history on it and some different things I thought you guys might appreciate. But before I get started, can anyone in the chat just let me know that the audio is good and you guys can hear me and it's not picking up extra noise? Anyone? Maybe I can't see the chat. Okay, here we go. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So I was doing some digging. First, I want to say everything in this video is, of course, alleged, but I was doing awesome, Sam. Thank you. I've been doing digging on the gentleman who filed this lawsuit in court regarding the spelling manor, and there's so much to dig and try to research, so we're kind of doing a little bit at a time right now. So I found a ton on the spelling manor. If you're into awesome, so glad the audio is good. If you guys are into documentaries, if you're into doing deep dives, I would recommend the spelling manor, because there's actually a whole YouTube video of Candy going through the process of selling the manor, and then there was also like feuding going on between Tori and Candy, basically I think their whole lives. There's like a broken family within them, and some people don't know that dad only left Tori like $800,000 when he died. You know, and the mom is like a billionaire at this point, and she isn't sharing anything as far as we know. So let's jump into this. First of all, the spelling manor is alleged to be a home that was purchased by a disguised LLC account that allegedly was an account that Tom and Erica were running under disguised names as Nicholas White's father and Nicholas White's widow. Nicholas White is the person who has filed the lawsuit and who has made the accusations. Now, some people are talking about the court, that he filed these court documents without an attorney, and so that is what's kind of making people suspicious. But there were a couple of things to understand. Is number one, anyone can file a lawsuit on someone. You don't need legal representation to go to the courthouse and, you know, file suit on someone. The documents were, you know, are have been entered into court. He has just chosen to represent. There's no representation. So it's possible that he's well educated himself. It's possible he has a friend that's helping him. We don't know. But I did go back as far as 2019. Nicholas White owns a company. It's like Hollywood construction, if you will. And you can go back to 2019 and see this deal taking place. And guys, it's big time. First of all, it mentions William Barr. It mentions Donald Trump, issues with the billions and it being transferred. So I took photos of that article, and I'm going to post that for you guys. I'm also going to post photos from the spelling manor. Guys, you will not believe this home. I mean, it is enormous, like you wouldn't believe. It's just enormous. And Candy originally sold it to a British heiress who wanted to get in right away. And so I think she's done a lot of redecorating on the home, because I watched a documentary that you guys could find on YouTube if you're interested, about Candy selling the manor. And, you know, they're basically showing all of the rooms. You know, she had gift wrapping rooms. She had a doll museum. I mean, she was like a collector of anything I feel like she could collect. She collected Beanie Babies from Happy Meals. I mean, and she just had tubs and tubs and tubs and tubs and tubs of Beanie Babies from McDonald's. Like, some kind of Madame dolls that are very expensive. that Tori alleges were hers, and they were in her bedroom. Like, you would open them, look them up, and then put them in a glass case with like a light on it and lock the door because they were very expensive. And there was over 100 of them, and Candy sold them at auction, and allegedly Tori didn't get any of the money from them, but she had over 100 of them. It was like she just had so much money that she really didn't know what to even spend it on. I mean, it's crazy. Tori said the home, well, first of all, let's give some dynamics. It had 123 rooms. It had 14 bedrooms. It had 27 bathrooms. It was 56,000 square feet. It took a staff of 20 full-time employees to just keep up with keeping the mansion to, keep going. It took 7 years to build. It's bigger than the White House. It's one of the largest houses in the entire United States. So if Erica and Tom pulled this off, they pulled off a pretty big heist, right? People will be like, well, why would they do that? Why would they? This home is famous amongst rich people and elite people. Like, the news they lived in like a cul-de-sac of Holmby Hills, which is like the highest of the high end in LA area to like get a home. I want to say Kim Kardashian. No, that's a lie. I'm sorry. They may have used to have lived there. But it's definitely the who's who in LA have their homes there. And so the neighbors, while the Spellings were building this home, were very frustrated. They were pissed about all of the paparazzi. They were pissed about all the construction workers. They were pissed about the tour buses coming, driving around and circling back. So they were getting a lot of attention for building this house. They hosted Prince Charles. I mean, these people, this is all letting us know again the sort of ties that these people had, okay? Like, Aaron Spelling, Candy Spelling, again, living neighbors to Kathy and Rick Hilton, who are also big time family names, right? And so it's likely that they ran in the same circle of like rich, housewives and rich, businessmen who lived in Holmby Hills. And Prince Charles, the president, Aaron Carter, well, he was retired, I guess, if you will, but Aaron Carter, is his name Aaron Carter? Who was the president that was Mr. and Mrs. Carter? It wasn't Aaron Carter. I don't know why I said Aaron. But anyways, the point is that they hosted a lot of big-time political people, and we know that, and we've seen it with the Jeffrey Epstein trial, like, sometimes we have politicians and rich people who do things and make moves that we would be disgusted by. And it's possible that, the more important people are that are involved in it, the more they probably want to keep it hush hush, right? And it would be possible that Erica and Tom would want to like gain possession of this mansion. Let me tell you something else about it. Everything in the home is antique and hand-picked out by Candy Spelling. She toured Europe buying chandeliers. Nothing is bought brand new. All of it is vintage. All of it is antique. So if Tom and Erica could get possession of this home, it's possible they could make a lot of money just selling some of the things in the home, because she went to Italy. There was like just, the chandeliers, everything she bought antique. It's enormous. And Aaron Spelling was very, very wealthy. So again, this being bigger than the White House, this house, like, of course Erica and Tom are going to want to host their politician, big time friends there. So this article that I found, you can find it on the Hollywood Land Development site. And this is from 2019. It says on April, oh, well, nope, I'm sorry. This one is going to be from 2020. And it's speaking on the Treasury Secretary Stephen and Attorney General William Barr to proceed with payments to the Hollywood Land Development Company CEO and Chairman Mr. Nicholas Phillips White by Treasury check for $27 billion payable directly to chairman and CEO of the Hollywood Development Company, which will be hand delivered to Nicholas Phillips White immediately by Attorney General Hanna of the Central District of California. And then it goes in to say that Nicholas White, which is the victim, the one that alleges Tom and Erica stole all this money from him, is the great-great-grandson of prominent philanthropist U.S. Senator Lawrence Phillips, treasurer of Carnegie Trust. So he has family money, is what they're saying. He also pledged a large gift of $370 million to the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, and that could benefit 4,500 men and women of law enforcement in Palm Beach, Florida. So to give you guys, like I said, I couldn't go all the way back because I got distracted by the spelling manor, but whatever took place that this man was supposed to receive this money, it seems legitimate. It literally says Donald Trump for the U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and Attorney General Barr to proceed with the payment. So whatever the deal, the tower, it looks like the United States had some input on this too, but they are alleging that they were going to hand deliver this check to Philip White, and somehow, some way, Tom and Erica got possession of that money, and he never saw it. I'm sorry, it's actually dated from June 3rd of 2020. The company that Nicholas White owns is the Hollywood Land Development Company. You can look into that, like I said, guys. There's a couple of articles. Basically, it's just talking about the deal, getting this money, and having an executed agreement on the exact amount. So Tom and Erica are running with big time people. Wouldn't you say, guys? I mean, this man is writing about the president of the United States and the attorney William Barr. These are big time people to be affiliated with Nicholas White, and to have Tom and Erica take advantage and somehow obtain this $27 billion. And maybe that's why Nicholas White didn't use an attorney to file this, because he doesn't need to. Maybe he has a name against the politicians. He has a name built with the people of who's who in Los Angeles. So maybe he doesn't need an attorney to represent him. Maybe this is why Ronald Richards isn't commenting on it. Like, maybe this guy's been behind the scenes and he has a lot of connections, and Tom and Erica screwed him. And now Tom's, if something happens to him in the nursing home, I mean, then we know we got a problem on our hands. But yeah, like I said, he's the chairman and CEO of this Hollywood Land Development. He comes from family money. His dad went to Yale University. Last night, guys, I went on a live. I did a live with a Make It Make Sense account. Love them. We had so much fun. Philly Diva was also on the live with us. To give you guys a recap, she was the black content creator that Diana Jenkins attacked in comments on Instagram when I broke the story. So it was nice to talk housewives with her as well. You guys should definitely check out the video. It was a live last night. We went through all of the legal document and kind of broke it down. I'm not sure if I told you guys about Tom's status, like his citizenship. Let you guys know that he basically was born in Italy, and he said that he was born in Texas, and he presented fraudulent visa documents. So it's possible that his papers are expired. We're not hearing much about this. We're not hearing much about any of this. And that's another thing we have to remember. Nicholas White had to do all of his own research to find all of this out, to find the doctor that signed the death certificate that alleged that he was dead. They gave Erica the power through probate court, however they did it, to have control of his account, to issue 25 different debits to that account. The branch was a mile. This Bank of America branch that Erica was withdrawing money from, this illegal account, was literally 1 mile from her new home where she lives. So if she was going there and withdrawing money, that says something to us, guys. That says that maybe this guy is absolutely telling the truth, because why would she be withdrawing money and then stop withdrawing money? There was also a photo taken of Erica when she was down and out, and we saw her out getting gas and driving her Land Rover, and I think that she went to TJ Maxx that day. Someone took a photo of Erica standing, you know, paparazzi, whatever, pumping gas, and she had her wallet in her hand. And yes, Alex, Nicholas White is alive. Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to stop mid-story, guys, but I just saw someone's comment. Yes, Nicholas White is alive. They said that he died. They had a fake birth certificate, not fake death certificate signed off by a doctor that they paid to say that he was dead. And that was how Tom played his dad and Erica played the widow. And yes, it's very, very coincidental that Erica would fraudulently play a widow and pretend her husband died and go through probate court and get access to this money. And then obviously they're like ripping widows off too. So it's like weird, you know, she played a widow, she pretended to be a widow, and then they were like allegedly ripping widows off. So it's a little crazy. Now I forgot where I was going. I'm so sorry. We were talking about Tom's citizenship, and we were talking about Erica living a mile from the branch. Oh, the gentleman that was the broker from Hilton and Highland, he's dead. He died randomly under, you know, unexpected circumstances. Really, nobody knows. And then the chairman, the CEO of Bank of America, the Mike guy, he stepped down too. So it's kind of, I mean, how can we say that maybe this isn't true when the CEO of Bank of America stepped down and somebody else took control, because they said there were over 104 different times that they overlooked fraudulent documents and transactions done by Erica and Tom. And they were saying that one of the, you know, people through Bank of America that knew Tom and Erica were doing this had actually like went to school with Nicholas White's father at Yale University. So he obviously would have known that Tom was not Nicholas's father because he went to school with him. Right? Seeing some of the comments, yes, make it make sense, was the live. Okay, yes, the photo of Erica at the gas station. So somebody screenshotted it and zoomed in, and don't you guys know that she had a Bank of America debit card in her wallet in one of those paparazzi photos? I mean, obviously, sure, coincidental. I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, but in this case, sure, she could use Bank of America, I guess, but you know, she says that she never uses banks. She never had used a bank before, but then earlier in the earlier in the season, she had said she takes care of the money and she knows what's coming in and going out. So Erica, you know, contradicts herself a lot, so it's hard to go back on statements because it's so one way one time and one way the other, so it makes it very difficult to go back and say, well, Erica said this, well, Erica said that, because Erica said a lot of things. It's so funny, guys, because you know, the whole robbery, you guys remember whenever, you know, this happened, Tom and Erica split, Erica moves into her new house, and Tom's still at the Pasadena mansion, and all the lawsuits are hitting, and they're starting to tell Tom, like, you got to go, you got to get out of this house, you can't be staying here, we got to sell it, etc., etc. And Erica was telling the story on Real Housewives about how Tom was robbed, and he confronted the robber. So Tom did report a robbery at that Pasadena mansion several days after they were like, look, you got like a week to get out. And the reason that he did it, it was to allegedly, the reason they did that, it was strategic, right? Because Tom and Erica knew these lawsuits were starting to hit. So that's, you know, what triggered the separation, the divorce, the bankruptcy. So they've been kind of playing defense this whole time because they know what's coming at them, right? So that was part of the plan. Like, say there was a robbery, so anything of value in the home that the trustees knew of, you know, they could say was, if they take it and sell it on the low or whatever the case may be, and they hide it at the brother's house, the trustees can't be like, where's this, you know, $500,000 piano in the great room? And Tom would be like, well, the robbers took it. I mean, the robbers obviously couldn't have taken the piano, but I mentioned the piano because that was something that Tom wanted to make sure that he received his payment for, thus the house be sold to Ronald Richards, and he did list it for like being value of $5,000. So anyways, the robbery basically made it easy for Tom to dispute anyone saying he had anything of value in the home. Jojo says, does Erica have $1 million painting? Probably. I mean, who knows? If they had 25 debit cards linked to this account, that's a lot of people, right? I don't even have 25 family members. So, like, let's hypothetically, let's run this through. So, Erica and Tom would each have one. Probably Erica's son. Then Tom has a daughter. I think he has a son. Let's say their spouses, 2, 4, 6. That's like maybe 10. So, we would have to come up with 15 other people who would be politically involved, politicians, as well as friends and family, that had these debit cards and had access up to $2,500 a day. And this account had billions of dollars in it. So, I mean, it's possible the brother, the dentist, had it. It's possible that Tom and Erica knew this was coming, and so they were just getting as many people as they could to withdraw from the account while it was still open and active, because we know that Nicholas White hasn't seen a dollar of his money. He's had to pay a $29,000 water bill to Los Angeles because of the Spelling Manor, right? Because Tom and Erica used Nicholas's money to purchase the Spelling Manor. He's now falling responsible for utilities and upkeep on the home. I really want to do a deep dive into Candy and Tori Spelling. I don't know if anyone else loved 90210. I love 90210. I loved Dylan. And I was always kind of fascinated with Tori Spelling and her relationship with her mom. So if you guys would like a deep dive on them, I would love to do that with you guys. Also, I want to talk about the fact that Erica was hit with the $50 million lawsuit when she hit LAX a couple of days ago. And I thought, why is she with Lisa Rinna? And I told you guys, Lisa Rinna, Diana, and Erica, all three were in Hawaii, of course, taking a great vacation, a girls' trip. This lawsuit hit on July 14th, so I think it's possible that Erica wanted to just kind of get away because she knew that this was going to probably hit and it was going to start picking up some heat. But the good thing that Erica has going for her on this lawsuit is Rick Hilton is named in it, Mauricio's named in it, the agency's named in it, and so therefore that's 3 more entities, powerful, rich entities that don't want anyone hearing these accusations or reading these court documents, right? They don't want that. Mauricio doesn't want to be involved in another $1 billion lawsuit because he's dealing with the one in Miami. And Rick Hilton, of course, doesn't want to be alleged with anything that Tom and Erica have done, or Mauricio. So they don't want this to come out either. So Erica has more people this time helping push this under the rug, keep sweeping it under the rug, because they don't want it coming out either, because it makes them look really bad. And it also makes us think, well, maybe that's why Kyle's been so supportive of Erica. It's possible that Mauricio went to Kyle and filled her in on some of the bad businesses, going on that was happening. And so Kyle's really trying to be on defense too. We don't know. Last night's episode was interesting, to say the least. This was kind of supposed to be sticking to like the spelling mansion, but I just wanted to speak for 1 second with you guys about how funny it is that Kathy was talking about how Erica was so sloppy drinking, and you don't want to do that because you could lose control and say something you don't want to say on camera, basically. And it just made me laugh a little bit, because as soon as they go to Aspen, the first day that Kathy arrives is allegedly when all of this transpires. So it's like, you didn't take your own advice. Like, you were talking about Erica, she needed to be able to control herself, control her liquor, so she didn't, make herself look bad on camera. And then here you come, jet lagged, drinking, and whatever extracurricular activities Kathy may take part in, all messed up, making racial slurs because the DJ won't play your song. Like, I feel like Kathy took it personal. Like, she wanted them to play Michael Jackson, Billie Jean Is Not My Lover. I don't know how I remember some of this stuff off the top of my head, but that stuck in my head, that Kathy wanted to hear Billie Jean Is Not My Lover by Michael Jackson. And we know that Kathy was a big Michael Jackson fan. They were allegedly close friends, and that's allegedly why both of their firstborn daughters are named Paris. That Michael Jackson and Kathy and Tamra Braxton were all friends, and they all made a pact that they were going to name their daughters Paris, and so that's where we got Paris. So, just a little fun fact for you guys. I do think Kyle is uncomfortable talking about alcoholism because, well, one, she's on an antidepressant and she drinks on it. So I think that makes her uncomfortable. Because you're not supposed to do that. And I feel like Kyle really kind of prides herself on not being like an alcoholic like Kim and being like a partier like Kathy. Like, she's just family, family, family. Let's read some comments. It was kind of strange because in one of the interviews this week, she was sitting down with a picture of Michael Jackson behind her. How ironic. That is very ironic. Groovy, you have not missed the Aspen trip. I was just referencing that what someone said, did they miss the Aspen trip? No, the Aspen trip's coming, but I just found it comical that a couple of episodes before that, we would hear Kathy talking about how Erica needs to control herself and don't drink too much and don't be messy. And then she's going to go drink too much and be messy and be out of control. So, no. Nobody has missed the Aspen episode. Has not happened. We just know that this did happen behind the scenes. And this was allegedly what transpired her to use the gay slur at the restaurant. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I gave you guys this tea a long time ago. Maybe I didn't. And there were just so many reports after the Patrick Summers incident. I think that this kind of got swept under the rug. But basically what happened in Aspen, what I heard about the waiter at the restaurant was they were filming at a restaurant in Aspen, drinking and eating. It was late into the night. Production wrapped up, and the DJ was in a he was like set up in a spot where it had like plexiglass around him, so you couldn't just go up and speak to him direct. Well, you could, but you just had to go around. And so Kathy was asking the waiter to request her song, and I don't know what transpired between her and this waiter, but allegedly the waiter said something about like he didn't care where she was from, or, you know, basically like, I don't care who you are, it's a busy night, I don't have time to be running to the DJ and asking him to play your song, and, you know, basically saying like he didn't care she was Kathy Hilton, that didn't mean anything to him. And that's allegedly what sparked her to use the racial slur at the restaurant in Aspen. And then the homophobic slur was allegedly used about Sutton's assistant at the airport. This is when Lisa Rinna came in. She was like, she zeroed in, tunnel focus. Come on, Kathy, I'm going to get you a car. We got to get out of here, okay? I'm not going to tell anyone what you did. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. Listen, guys, I'm going to take Kathy home. Nobody come with us. We're fine. You guys enjoy your evening. I'm going to take Kathy. We're going to go back to the house, right? She just swoops in, picks Kathy up, like, I'm going to help you get out away from, you know, people, press, whatever. So of course Lisa gets her alone, and she probably, you know, says all the right things to get a drunk Kathy to spill anything and everything that she could. And that's where I think that this whole situation with Kathy talking shit about Kyle happens, right? We know that Kathy said at her viewing party in an interview that basically she needed to vent. She was tired. She had done a lot of press for Paris in Love. She had a long flight. She had a 3-hour layover. She was jet lagged and she was drinking, and she confided with a friend because she needed to vent. And that she said she confided with the wrong friend, right? So that was Lisa Rinna. And so she didn't say anything bad about Kyle necessarily on camera. We're hearing that she said it to Lisa Rinna, and Lisa Rinna has been the one to like repeat it and then, you know, bring it up to Kyle. But that's how Lisa Rinna did it. When this transpired at the restaurant, she took Kathy and they left alone. And obviously a drunk and flustered Kathy, because I'm sure the waiter lost his mind. And everything started to, like, you know, they probably went and told their manager and the girls, and everything's starting to get crazy. So Lisa just swoops right in and gets a car and gets Kathy out of that situation, but also uses it as an opportunity to get Kathy to tell her everything she's feeling so that she can validate her. Oh, yeah, I think that too. What else? Tell me more. Start from the beginning. And Lisa's taking notes, right? And that's how I think this is going to go. And that is going to be where Kathy was talking bad about Kyle. And I think that's why also when we see them, oh, let's see here. Why don't I, first of all, let me finish my statement. I think that's why Kathy looks at Kyle and keeps saying Kyle, when Kyle's talking to her about what she was saying. That's the scene with Lisa, Kyle, and Kathy. And Lisa said, you said some awful things about your sister. And Kyle's crying. And she's like, I feel like you hate me. And Kathy's saying, Kyle, like, you know I was drunk. You know what happened. You knew the situation. Like, in her head, that's what she is telling Kyle right now. Like, she's saying, number one, like, it didn't have anything to probably do with Lisa Rinna being in the mix of it. Like, let's have a private conversation off camera. But why don't I take some questions about the spelling manor? If you guys want to just go ahead and comment and let me know if you guys have any questions, and then that way I can kind of answer them for you, because it is confusing. It's confusing because Nicholas White, this is allegedly his billions of dollars, and they told the bank he was dead. They went and got a doctor to sign off on a death certificate for Nicholas White. Using that, and other documentation, they were able to go to probate court and prove that they should be in charge of the billions of dollars. So someone says, is there or was there a celebrity survivor? If so, Rinna should audition for it. I'm still waiting on this interception and stealing of money. So they went and said that that's how they stole the guy's money. They said he was dead. They told Bank of America, who was the one holding these billions of dollars, and they said, he's dead, I'm his dad, and this is his widow. And so we're going to take control now, and we're going to move this money into a Nicholas White Global LLC account, right? A trust, if you will, but an account that basically takes the money out of Nicholas White's name altogether and puts it into an LLC account, right? So then kind of puts another barrier between this man trying to get his money. Now he, can't even see transactions or nothing because they have in a whole separate account. That's how they stole the money. They said that he was dead and Tom acted like his dad and Erica acted like the widow. And that's why Bank of America could be in a lot of trouble because of the fact that like the CEO was friends with Tom Girardi. They did business together. One of the very important people involved that was very high up at Bank of America. He actually had went to Yale with Nicholas White's dad. So Nicholas White is the person who they said was dead. So the guy at Bank of America actually went to school with the victim's dad, and that's who Tom was pretending to be. So he would know that wasn't his dad. Why are you the only YouTuber talking about? Usually they are quick to pick up things, but they are talking about her being served in LAX this week. I don't get it. I think Sherelle's World did do something on this, and I think I can't remember the name of him, did something on it, and also the account I was on last night, Make It Make Sense, we did a whole thing on it. I think that Ronald Richards has, chosen not to comment. I think there's a lot of big time people involved. I think that the being served at the airport overshadowed this because TMZ obviously took to the $50 million lawsuit, and they showed, I've seen the clip of Erica at the airport 1,000 times. And I just think that there's a lot of big time people involved. And again, like I said, mainstream media, they all they all have, we know that Lisa Vanderpump was affiliated with Radar, and maybe Kyle and the Kardashians are TMZ, whatever the case may be. Now we just don't have Erica trying to hide it. We have Kyle and Mauricio, and we have Rick and Kathy. So if TMZ wants to run a story on this, it's not just a story on Erica anymore. Now it's a story on Mauricio and Rick. You can't leave them out. They're in the documents. There's big paragraphs. Like the guy at the agency, there's just it's not just Mauricio at the agency. It was other brokers. There was a lot of people involved in this deal. So therefore, TMZ is going to have to report on that too. So Kyle, they're also pushing all of this information down. They don't want it to come out either. Kyle and Kathy and the Hiltons and Mauricio and the agency who's about to get this big time deal with Netflix do not want Nicholas White's accusations to come out to the media. So I'm sure that they're doing what they can do to keep it out of mainstream. Kempire, yes, thank you. Did a really great story on YouTube as well. Yes, that's who it was. It was Kempire. So that's probably why you're not seeing it. Like I said, mainstream media, TMZ, Radar Online, they're not covering it. They have good relationships with, these people. And I don't know, Erica basically, she hit a gold mine on this one because of the fact that there's so many big time people involved. I mean, I read you an article about attorney William Barr and issuing this money to the Hollywood Construction LLC. That's the victim's, basically his business. And so we're mentioning a lot of big time politicians. That's scary for a lot of people. A lot of business and things are who you know, right? Especially in like realtor business. Look at how Kyle reacted when Camille said that Mauricio couldn't be her and Kelsey Grammer's realtor anymore. Do you guys remember how Kyle acted? Like, she was devastated. Like it was his only account. Like, they lived off of the money they made off of her and Kelsey buying and selling their homes. So it is a big deal. It's about who you know, especially if you're making transactions, selling homes and stuff, and they don't want their name in bad press. They don't want their name being associated with Tom Girardi and people thinking that they are associated with this person who ripped off widows and orphans. Kyle and Kathy don't mind being associated or affiliated through the show, obviously, because that's their co-worker, but they don't want to be personally associated with her and their husband doing bad business deals, especially when there's been already so many accusations about Mauricio and the agency and the Malibu house that he's been in that lawsuit for a long time. So they don't want their name involved. I mean, this house was bigger than the White House. Literally bigger than the White House. Like, it was big time. So probably don't want the agency to get any bad rep either, because they're already dealing with like the bad press that came from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and her telling, Erica telling Garcelle's sons to F off, and Kyle, being so dismissive of it, Mauricio laughing about it. Netflix did not like that. They did not like the bad press that Kyle and Mauricio were getting, and basically they had to clean up their act and apologize because Netflix has signed this deal with them for this TV show about the agency buying Beverly Hills. And they don't want bad press around that. That's a big contract for Kyle and Mauricio. We have to remember, it's been, 13 seasons of Beverly Hills. When Kyle and Mauricio came on, they shopped at Target. Kyle didn't know big time people's designers and stuff. They've quadrupled their net worth in 10 years. Literally went from a net worth of 5 million to a net worth of 100 million in I think 8 years. You could definitely look that up. That's hard to do. Just saying, guys. It's really hard to go from 5 million to 100 million in 8 years, through a realtor, through opening your own company, and I don't know. But anyways, Netflix has a deal for them, and they do not want the bad press that they were getting from Beverly Hills coming, round. And they definitely don't want bad press talking about Mauricio being involved in some sort of deal with Tom Girardi. I can tell you that Netflix definitely doesn't want that. Oh yeah, girl, she shopped at Target. Absolutely. Tom was born in Italy, and his immigration status may be up. He may be deported. Yes, those allegations are true. Apparently he's been lying this whole time. He was born in Italy. But Mo is international, LOL. Right. Well, hopefully, you never know. He might have to, he's in Mexico. Remember, he always travels with him too. Remember the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls trip? That place they stayed in, Turks and Caicos, was through the agency. And he flew with them. I just thought that was so weird that he's I don't know. Just very strange to me. But I want to know what you guys think. So make sure you guys comment. Let me know your opinions on all of this. I want to know why Mauricio didn't tell Kyle about picking up PK. I didn't know Kyle picked up PK. I thought Dorit picked up PK. Didn't she? She said she picked up the car. She had to. That's why he had to tell her, because she had to go get the car, right? Did I miss something on that? I thought that was an interesting conversation too, because I think Dorit was like, you know, happy they didn't have to talk about the robbery, but at the same time, okay, the cops drove PK home. That's what I thought. But I knew that Dorit picked the car up, probably because it was a, you know, the police, I don't think, can just release your vehicle to anyone. It has to be like the person who, the title on it. Dorit picked up the car, not PK, right? Knowing something that PK, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how allegedly he was driving home from a dinner party. They thought that he was swerving. They pulled him over. And we do know that sometimes, like, the blowers that the police use, for DUI checks cannot be accurate. It doesn't make, I don't know why they would have had him blown twice to begin with, because typically if you blow and you blow over, that's all they need. They don't ask you for a second. Don't ask you to blow for a second time. Maybe they do in some cases. Maybe he just explained to them they had a glass of wine. Not sure, but they still didn't let him drive his car home, and they did allegedly drop the DUI the next day. Probably because they have a great relationship with LAPD since they've been robbed so many times. The police know right where they live. They know how to get there. At 4 a.m., the cops had him in a limo en route to home. Yeah, crazy. What was Kyle talking about when she said that Mo knew something about it and didn't tell Kyle? I'll rewatch it and see what I'm thinking. Yes, please, Krista, let me know. Thank you. I was wondering why he blew twice. I don't know. It didn't seem... like I said, they must have really just gave him another chance. PK got special treatment because he told them he knew Boy George. It's possible. I mean, who knows? Like, again, it's about who you know in situations. And it's possible that they have a good rapport with some of the cops at LAPD in their district. Like I said, they've been robbed twice. PK and Dorit and Mauricio Girardi protected, LAPD paid. I mean, Galaxy might have a really great point there, guys. I mean, if I can't even start a deep dive on the LAPD, I'm not talking bad about them, of course, but I'm just saying there's been a lot of scandal involved with them. Sorry, my work phone's ringing. I'm not sure who that is, so we'll just save that for next time. But yeah, guys, that's where we're at with this case. I'm going to keep you guys posted, of course, on anything that gets, you know, posted to the court dockets that comes out. But I really think that you guys, like, I posted the link to the actual documents. You guys can go check them out if you want to. They definitely posted a photo as well. They included a photo of Erica leaving the bank after she had, like, impersonated and pretended to be the widow and withdrew money. So, I don't know. Someone said something about my work phone tone. Guys, I hate having a work phone. It's the worst thing. I hate having 2 phones. I hate having 2 laptops. It's the worst thing in the world. And let me take you guys back also to when Erica first came on the show with Tom Girardi. Do you guys remember that they were having lunch in a restaurant in LA, and that an LAPD officer, allegedly the chief of police, walked up to the table, and they both got up and hugged him, and Erica, like, kissed him on the cheek and told him that she loved him. There's a lot of, I don't want to say, like, corruption. I'm not being mean about LAPD. I'm not talking bad about them, but I think that you could probably do a lot of digging and kind of see if there's some, you know, corruption that goes on in the LAPD, sadly. And it is possible that if it's billions of dollars, and if Tom and Erica were successful enough to pay off politicians, successful enough to pay off a doctor to sign a death certificate, successful enough to pay off all these other people, is it not possible that he could have paid off some cops too? I mean, I don't think that that's really that impossible. I mean, these are just average folks like you and me. I mean, the doctor was better off than all of us. You know, he had a chance to make more money than any of us, but like police officers and stuff, some of them are just making a normal wage like everyone else. And again, Erica's son works in the LAPD. So it's just a lot of tangled webs. There's a lot of relationships that they have that we don't know about. And Tom has been in California, in Hollywood, for like 60 years, okay? Like, He knows everyone's skeletons in their closet, and he kept paper files on all of them, right? We know that whenever this all took place, that the government went in and took all of his files because they didn't know really what he had on people, to be honest, because he'd been doing it for so long. We need a Judge Judy on this. Erica's son was an inside man. He's allegedly named in the court docs. Of course, he paid off people. 25 debit cards. JoJo makes a great point. 25 debit cards. Exactly. Shay says, what a tangled web we weave. Yes. And I think we're getting a little bit of New Jersey and California by taking a good look at how everyone is linked together. And this person is it. The only issue I bring up about this is that this Nicholas White, the real one, who is alive and well, living in Beverly Hills, allegedly has like family money and has ties to a lot of like wealthy people. So I don't know how that happens exactly. It's probably difficult for us to understand all of the ins and outs on how Tom and Erica were able to do this, but we have to understand that Tom was an educated man in the law. He was educated on how the judicial system worked, so he had an advantage, right? We're just average people. We're trying to understand the law. We're taking our own experiences, other people's experiences, trying to figure this stuff out. But he had a law degree. He had friends that were lawyers. He had people that he could ask, and he was able to navigate and jump hoops and get through the tiniest little, loopholes, and it's paid off for him every single time. So when people are like, how could he have done this? He was an attorney. He was in law he was 83 years old when he pulled this off, allegedly, right? So we're talking 60 years of law knowledge, 60 years plus an endless amount of contacts and resources, the best resources in the world could buy, to help him narrate a $1 billion scam. It worked out okay for him. I mean, if I'm just saying, it hasn't worked out so terrible for him. But I want to know what you guys think. This mansion is unbelievable, the size of it. I really encourage you guys to go online and take a look at it, because it is just unbelievable. And we've talked a little bit too, guys, about the fact that Tom Girardi allegedly had an underground gentleman's club. I try not to tell this all the time in my lives, but he allegedly had an underground basically gentleman's strip club, if you will. That's allegedly how he really met Erica. Now go ahead and hit that like button, because I'm giving you guys some tea today, okay? But is it possible that that's the kind of parties that they were having at the mansion, and that's why, they didn't have the people coming to their own home like they had the Spelling Mansion? Maybe they made it anonymous. They made it as discreet as possible. Maybe they were making money off the Gentleman's Club, and they were charging people to have access to the Spelling Manor, to get crazy, to get freaky, to party, to indulge in their wildest fantasies that they can't tell their wives or anyone else. It's possible. We know how Hollywood is. We know there's sex parties. We know that there is, things that you and I, we can't even imagine, right? So we can't not imagine that Tom and Erica could possibly do something like this, and that it could have made them a lot of money. And I think that's why Erica just shows no sweat, no tears, because I think she's okay. I think if she can hold off through these lawsuits, watch. She'll come out on top, and people will be like, where did you get all this money? Was Diana supplying the girls for these mansion parties? LOL. Who knows? I'm sure that Erica was probably helping along too. If she allegedly met him and, that's how they kind of hooked up, is she was working for him in this underground gentleman's club where he basically played like Hugh Hefner, if you will. She could have been recruiting girls too. She could have, they could have just got to a point though where they had so much money, they just, had other people doing it. I think Diana is into way more like people that just like children, as sick as that is. And I think that Erica and Tom's was more about like young blondes with big boobs, California style. Just, I feel like a lot of places think that sex and like prostitution isn't necessarily a crime, and so they support it. They don't think they're doing anything wrong, and so maybe they have an high-end sort of situation where gentlemen pay for the ladies' time and experience. And maybe Erica doesn't have to look for people. Maybe people were looking for Erica and Tom because it was such a good gig, because it made them so much money, because it was discreet, because they didn't have to go dance somewhere in front of a million, in front of people and try to, hustle up money that way. Maybe the underground elite club was sought after, and maybe girls came to Erica like, I want to work there. I want to work here. I want to make money too. Help me. And she didn't have to look for them. In Diana's case, when you're using being alleged of using underage people, that's where you start kidnapping people. So that's kind of the level I think Diana's on. I think Erica's just more on a okay, if you want to have sex with the old men for money, that's cool with me too, but you're going to give me a percentage and I'll help you hook up with the old men. How's that? Right? And your husband doesn't have to know, because you're going to go to the Spelling Manor where there's how many bedrooms? 14 bedrooms and 17 bathrooms. I mean, they probably have people in every room. My goodness, I'm sure they did. There was a bowling alley. There was, it's crazy. Wait till you guys see the photos I'm going to post for you on the community page. You're going to die. You'll just die. The home is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's huge. It's so big. And so there could have been a lot of people there at one time and no one would have even known it. But Erica sure did warm up to Diana real quick. Thank you, Tracy. I thought the same exact thing. Erica has no other motives than money. I agree. It's getting weirder and weirder. I know. I think Sutton knows too much and that's why they don't like her. It's possible. It's very possible. Tracy, it's so funny that you say that, because I felt like when she met Erica, Erica gave Diana the look nice to meet you. I'm broken down and out, but I'm down with you because I know that you make money. So whenever you're ready to let me in, I'm cool, right? That's what I feel like Erica said with her eyes to Diana, was I'm down with whatever you are down with if it makes me some money, because I am dry and I need money, honey. That's what I felt like when Erica and Diana met. So I love that Tracy said that, because I just felt that she was talking to Diana with her eyes. Someone else, Reality says, yes, I agree. I think Kathy too. I think Kathy sees right through them too. I think so too. Corey says, I agree. They became buddy really quick. Yes, I think so too. It was kind of uncomfortable almost. And it does seem like Lisa is very loyal to Diana. It's strange because allegedly Lisa brought Sutton on too. And it does almost seem like there's I don't know, that Diana ranks a little bit higher on the totem pole than Lisa. Even when they're having conversations, it kind of feels like Lisa's I don't want to say talking to her boss, but talking to someone that maybe has some sort of authority kind of over her. I don't know if you guys get that feeling, but I kind of do. She's kind of tagging along with Diana, she's yes, Diana, yeah, whatever you say, Diana, yes. So people are saying Kathy can through it because she knows Hollywood. I agree with you, Shay. She's been in Hollywood a very long time and she knows. It was really a cringe episode. Harry used to own a brothel. It's all reality. Krista, I love that. I didn't know that. Lisa is thirsty and would do anything for money. She talks about Diana's money a lot. I agree, guys. Yes, Harry Hamlin, I got to look a little bit more into that, Shay. I'm so glad you said that, because I had heard that but forgot. All alleged, got a banner up. I know, Susan. Damn it, I was working on my banner last night, and we did that. Make it make sense, and it was over an hour and a half, and so it was late when I got off the air, and I was doing all this digging, trying to find out all this stuff for this live today, so I didn't get my banner made, but I'm going to get it made by the end of the week. Oh yeah, he owned a brothel in the 80s. Allegedly needs to be said, post a banner and protect yourself. I know, Peggy, I'm going to have it done. I promise. I just was working on it last night. I'm going to get it. Thank you guys for pressuring me. I know I need to. Thank you. I'm blaming you. Make it make sense. You guys got to check out our live last night. I told you guys we went through, read through the entire legal documents that were posted. So if you're really interested in getting the details and more of a timeline, then that would be a great video for you to check out and listen to. Make sure you hit a like button. Love your channel. Want to thank you, Peggy. And guys, like I said, make sure that you check out the Make It Make Sense. We're going to do that, I think, every Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesdays after Beverly Hills. We're going to talk Beverly Hills live on his channel, so you guys can come check that out. But yeah, so I want to know what you guys think. Make sure that you comment. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Then that way I can include it in my next video, because I know that it's difficult to keep all of this together. It's a pretty long timeline. So I am happy to answer any questions and break it all down for you guys. If you put the questions in the comments, I have no problem doing that. Really would love to put together something where we could have you guys call in and ask questions too. So all right guys, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn those notifications on, guys. There's a lot going on. You guys don't want to be in the dark about this stuff. Like, these lawsuits and these court docs filing, like, they're just popping up randomly. So I know you guys don't want to miss. Turn the notifications on, and have a great Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. I can't wait. Bye guys. If I can figure it out.